What's up, y'all? This is my very first talking head video on this music channel, I think. I plan to do more of these as I want to kind of share insights into my journey back into music. And so today I'm going to talk about sort of my, I guess, the music goals and plan that I have for myself, at least in the next year or so, as I'm easing my way back into being a professional musician. So if this is your first time watching me, welcome. Let me introduce myself real quick. I used to perform, tour, compete, played in bands, and listen to all kinds of music. That was like the key. I think I was always seeking out new music. That was my main focus for high school, college, grad school, several years post-grad school. And then one day I reached a crossroads. You know, there's a lot of factors involved in this, but I'll just try and keep it very simple. Basically, I was getting married and planning to start a family and had a very good business opportunity. So I took that practical route, thinking whenever I'd want to, I can always just switch back to the other path. As happens when you go down one path, even if you're just taking like 1 or 2 steps a day, after a year or 2 years, you can no longer see that other path. I stopped practicing, stopped playing music. I stopped listening to music. All I know is that at some point, 2016, 2017, at some point I realized one day that I hadn't touched an instrument in many years, and I hadn't even been listening to music for fun. Like I realized I had no idea what was on the radio. I was completely lost with a lot of pop culture music references. I just wasn't listening to music. I was listening to audiobooks, I was listening to podcasts, and that was sort of my audio consumption. No more music at all. And so fast forward to 2020, I feel like I'm telling the story a lot. You can watch the my channel trailer if you want. But basically, I started to make a concerted effort to finally get back into music. For years, I'd always been asked and had always been saying that, yeah, I'll probably do music again next year. And there was always next year. But finally, 2020 was next year. And I began practicing piano pretty diligently in the second half of 2020. It wasn't a lot, but it was something at least that I was trying to maintain consistently. At least like once or twice a week, I would practice something, 10, 15 minutes or something. But I was doing it, and so I could build upon my practicing and my progress. I started doing the violin again, practicing the violin around New Year's. And so I feel like I'm finally more or less getting back on track to becoming a musician again and to becoming myself again. All right, so here now I'm going to lay out my overall plan, my vision for becoming a musician, and some of the specific goals I have. This is for you to get to know me better, and also for me to really be held accountable in meeting these benchmarks. Well, first of all, I want to say that I think I've overcome what's the largest obstacle of all for me, which is perfectionism, combined with caring way too much about how other people perceive me. And I mean, I guess that's really the same thing, and that's where perfectionism comes from, is wanting to create sort of this narrative and this image so that others will perceive me in a very specific way. That was probably my biggest struggle in my previous life as a musician. This time around, especially here on this YouTube channel, I've totally shattered that. I've hit publish on so many things, pretty much everything on this channel, that I never would have allowed to see the light of day in the past. And this is a huge step for me. The main reason why I managed to do this is because I've told myself that I am sharing this journey with the world. So everyone out there, all of you, can witness my progress. I'm not perfect, I'm far from it. I'm not polished at all, and maybe I'm 5 or 10% of the way to where I want to be, but that's fine, because I'm just letting you all watch me grow and develop and progress, letting you all see what's happening behind the curtain, no matter how rough or ugly it gets at any given moment. And I'm not under any illusions that I've completely conquered this struggle of mine, but I think I've clearly made a lot of progress. Okay, so back to my goals, back to my plans. Last month, I was approved by the Taiwan Ministry of Culture to receive the Taiwan Gold Card, which is a very desirable visa for special professionals. And I'll just say this. As a result, I am now part of a very prestigious and highly accomplished class of artists. And I'm honored and humbled by my selection. And I feel like I tricked them or fooled them in some way, and that I definitely don't deserve this honor. But it is what it is. I've been approved now, and I had been saying for many months that if I received the gold card in the arts, then that would mean that when we move to Taiwan, which we're planning to do at the end of this year, I will make pursuing music the focal point of my career. Here are my 3 goals I have for me in my music career that are sort of guiding the way, how I'm going to spend my time, what opportunities I'm going to pursue, and so forth. These are my 3 goals, my primary goals. One is to be a musician. What I mean by that is to just play music, like play in a band, be a session musician, whether that's piano, violin, or guitar. I want to get back to a high level of proficiency at all of those instruments and find a place as a musician, performing, playing in a band, in studio, recording, playing at a piano bar, playing in a cover band, anything. It's just, I realize now with the benefit of hindsight that just being part of a band and being part of live performances is something that I need, even if that means playing dumb cover songs at 2 a.m. in a like smoky bar, dingy bar in Taipei with like 12 people in the audience. That's something that I crave. Being a musician and playing and performing is one of my primary goals. So next, I want to write music for pop stars, pop singers, aspiring pop stars. This will obviously, I think, make the most sense beginning in Taiwan, for Asian pop stars in Taiwan. I'm going to try to develop my connections and write songs for them, for singers. Certainly Korea, China, also on my radar. But I think that's where it's all going to start, and that's something that it's an alignment of where my skills and talents and natural ability, something that I would really love to do. And then my third goal, this is like the biggest one, the one that's farthest out into the distance, is to write classical music, compose classical music again, and actually do it really well and be taken seriously as a classical composer, which is tough because, it's a thing that I've not done for the longest amount of time. The last time I really was writing classical compositions was in undergrad, and I haven't done it in a long time, and it's a skill that I'm going to need to develop over time to really reach the level that I hope to reach. I think what will make the most sense is to write chamber music for musicians in Taipei, and then just get practice with that. And then eventually what I want to do is write an orchestral work, write like serious orchestral music. This is sort of my Mount Everest. It's the thing that I've always wanted to do. I think would be the most fulfilling thing and the most challenging. Those are my 3 goals. These are my North Stars, and these are the things that I think will, once we're living in Taiwan, my actions and my decisions on a day-to-day basis will be guided by these 3 goals. All right, and then a few like specific goals, sort of benchmarks or milestones that I'm kind of setting for myself. I want to be writing songs again by this summer. That's a very broad thing, but yeah, by sort of July, let's say middle of the summer, I want to be working on songs, writing songs again. And then by the end of August, so by the end of the summer, beginning of fall, I want to be practicing guitar. It is a different kind of goal. I don't know if I'm going to meet it at the 1-year mark of my YouTube channel. So in the first week of November 2021, I want to be monetized on this channel. I don't know if that's going to happen, and I don't know if I'm going to kill myself to try and make it happen. But that was my goal when I started the channel. When I started both of my YouTube channels, I wanted to be monetized at the 1-year mark. And for my main channel, that looks like it's probably going to happen. This channel, yeah. And then my last goal is to perform a real show. So I have performed some on a couple of occasions on Clubhouse now. I've done like one song here or there live, but those were really like just fun rooms. It wasn't really serious. I do want to perform a real show, even if it's just on Clubhouse or a live stream. I want it to be like a serious performance that I'm doing by the end of this year. So there you have it, sort of my like longer term goals and my more immediate goals, what I'm planning to do in music for like the next couple years. Thank you to anyone who follows along on this journey and encourages and supports me. I really appreciate it, and know that I really couldn't do it without you. Like, you guys are motivating me, and even if I've never seen you or heard from you, just knowing that you're out there motivates me. And yeah, hopefully in a few years I can look back and like set some new goals for myself, because I've gone a long way to making these come true, or I've actually accomplished them. So that's about it. Till next time, drop a comment, like, whatever, blah, 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 YouTube stuff, and peace.